The small town of Hollow Creek was known for its quaint charm and close-knit community. Nestled in the heart of the town was an old, two-story house that had been in my family for generations. After my grandmother passed away, I inherited the house and decided to move in, hoping to find some solace and perhaps uncover more about my family's history. The house was filled with memories and antiques, each room telling a story of the past. But there was one place I had always been forbidden to enter as a child: the attic. My grandmother had been adamant about keeping it locked, claiming it was too dangerous with its steep stairs and cluttered space. Now, as the new owner, I felt a strange compulsion to explore it. One chilly autumn evening, I decided to venture into the attic. The key to the locked door was hidden in my grandmother's old jewelry box, a small, tarnished key that felt cold in my hand. As I turned the key in the lock, the door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase leading up into darkness. I grabbed a flashlight and made my way up the stairs, the wood creaking under my feet. The air grew colder and mustier as I ascended, the scent of old wood and dust filling my nostrils. Reaching the top, I found myself in a large, cluttered space filled with boxes, old furniture, and forgotten treasures. As I shone my flashlight around the attic, I noticed something peculiar in the far corner. It was a large, ornate trunk, its surface covered in a thick layer of dust. Intrigued, I made my way towards it, my footsteps echoing in the silent attic. The trunk was locked, but the key was still in the keyhole. I turned it and the lock clicked open. Inside, I found a collection of old photographs, letters, and a small, leather-bound journal. The journal was filled with my grandmother's handwriting, her neat script detailing events from decades past. I sat down on the dusty floor and began to read. The entries were dated from the 1950s, and as I read, I realized they were accounts of strange occurrences in the house. My grandmother wrote of hearing footsteps in the attic at night, of seeing shadows moving in the corners of her eyes, and of feeling an oppressive presence that seemed to follow her wherever she went. One entry, in particular, sent a shiver down my spine. October 12, 1955. The shadow has grown bolder. It no longer hides in the corners but stands at the foot of my bed, watching me. I can feel its cold gaze, its malevolent intent. I fear for my safety, for the safety of my family. I must find a way to banish it. I turned the page, my heart pounding. The next entry was even more chilling. October 15th, 1955. I have found an old spell book in the attic, hidden among the dusty tomes. It speaks of dark rituals and ancient curses. I believe the shadow is a manifestation of one such curse, a vengeful spirit bound to this house. I must perform the ritual to banish it, but I fear the consequences. The journal ended abruptly, the final pages torn out. I felt a cold dread settle in my stomach. What had happened to my grandmother? Had she truly performed the ritual, and if so, what were the consequences? Determined to find answers, I decided to spend the night in the attic. I brought a sleeping bag, a lantern, and some supplies, settling in for what I hoped would be an enlightening experience. As the sun set and the darkness enveloped the attic, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The night was eerily quiet, the only sound the distant hoot of an owl. I tried to read more of my grandmother's journal, but my eyes grew heavy, and I soon drifted off to sleep. I awoke with a start, the sound of footsteps echoing through the attic. My heart raced as I grabbed my lantern and made my way to the center of the room. The footsteps grew louder, more insistent, and I could feel a cold presence pressing down on me. Suddenly, I saw it, a dark, shadowy figure standing in the corner. It was tall and menacing, its form shifting and writhing as if made of smoke. I felt a chill run down my spine as the shadow moved towards me, its cold gaze locked onto mine. Panic surged through me as I stumbled backward, my lantern clattering to the floor. The shadow grew larger, its form expanding to fill the room. I could feel its malevolent intent, its cold, oppressive presence pressing down on me. With a surge of adrenaline, I scrambled to my feet and ran, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't stop until I was outside, gasping for breath in the cool autumn air. As I looked back at the house, I saw the shadow standing in the attic window, its form silhouetted against the moonlit sky. In the days that followed, I tried to put the experience behind me, but the shadow and its malevolent presence lingered in my mind. I returned to my normal life, but the memory of that night remained vivid. The attic and its dark secret haunted me, and I knew I had to find a way to banish the shadow for good. I spent hours researching ancient curses and dark rituals, hoping to find a solution. And then, one day, as I was searching through my grandmother's old books, I found it. The spell book she had mentioned in her journal. It was a thick, leather-bound tome, its pages filled with arcane symbols and ancient incantations. With the spell book in hand, I returned to the attic. I approached the shadow cautiously, my heart pounding. I opened the book and began to recite the incantation, my voice trembling with fear and determination. The shadow seemed to grow larger, its form writhing and shifting as if in pain. I continued to recite the incantation, my voice growing louder, more insistent. Suddenly, the shadow let out a piercing scream, a sound that echoed through the attic and sent a chill down my spine. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the shadow vanished, leaving me alone in the attic. The room grew silent, the only sound the distant hoot of an owl. I took a deep breath, my heart filled with a mix of relief and sadness. I had banished the shadow, but at what cost? In the days that followed, I returned to my normal life, but the memory of the shadow and the dark ritual lingered in my mind. The house at Hollow Creek remained a constant presence, a reminder of the mysterious and the unknown. And so, the house stood, its secrets hidden within its walls, its past a dark enigma that would forever remain a mystery. The shadow in the attic had shown me a glimpse into the unknown, a tale of the past that would haunt me for the rest of my days. Yet, as I looked back on my experience, I couldn't help but wonder, what other secrets did the house hold? What other mysteries lay hidden within its walls? The house at Hollow Creek would forever remain a dark enigma, a tale of the unknown that would haunt me for the rest of my days.